Hi guys, and welcome to September's sort of critique session, if you like, and feedback. First of all, I just want to say thank you for all the comments on the previous video, the August critique. It was quite overwhelming. I wasn't expecting such a good response, and it's really encouraged me to keep this going for as long as I can and to provide as much feedback to you guys as I possibly can. And the quality of work coming through is really promising for guys who are learning and not in the industry and you're starting your journey. There's some pretty impressive work going on here, so it's really great to see that. And this month I did have a lot more than I thought I was going to get, and so I can't do them all, but the ones I couldn't do this month I'm going to push to next month, and I'll do them then. I will ask the students if they want me to give them feedback on them still, because it'll be a month past, so it may not be relevant anymore, or they might have moved on. I know I can only do it month by month, but it's just time, really. My time is quite short and I've got a big project on at the moment which I'm working on, and I've got a new course coming out imminently, a ZBrush course which has grown quite substantially, but is a great course if you want to learn how to use ZBrush from nothing. So it's completely for beginners, and you'll be pretty skilled at ZBrush by the time you finish it. But anyway, so I'm really busy, and it's just finding the time to do these things. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into this, and let's bring in the first one, which is going to be the bridge. And you can see I've got 3D Studio open, so let's just bring that in. So this is the piece I was given, and I think it's a white box model. Okay, so yeah, it's pretty low poly, and that's fine, that's all good. But when I was looking at this, I did notice a few things. It's just about being tidy with your polygons, basically. If you look in, because I noticed these little edges down here, and I turned it around and I could see something going on in here, and these edges don't match this. I know it's a white box, but it's good practice just to keep your geometry clean and neat as much as you can. So if we zoom in here, you can see there's gaps in the geometry, and it's not good. So you need to keep that as neat as possible. So I think we can select that like this, and then we can move it. I just selected using the element section there. Just turn off snap for a minute. Let's just pull it out. Quite easy to connect that. Just go to snap. Make sure vertex snap is selected in your snap settings. So just snap it in there and snap it to a vert, and that just keeps it nice and clean and tidy. And this edge here it should continue. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. I mean, if you're going to rebuild this, then that's fine. If it's just white box, it's modular in that it's built from elements, but it's this is a separate element. There's lots of different elements here, although it's one big object. So just be careful of these things. And let's select this section here, and this also needs to be moved and snapped. If we do that here, there we go, just snap into position. And then you've got some problems here with this geometry. It doesn't quite match. There's gaps down here. Even though it's touching, this vertex is touching, it kind of starts moving away, so you need to start moving these over. Just make sure your geometry is clean and neat, basically. Yeah, there's some weirdness going on there. It's quite a simple shape, so it shouldn't be hard to keep it clean, basically. I can't comment on the artistic quality, because I think it's just a portion of a bridge that he's going to use in a scene. I mean, it's quite detailed for white box, though, to be fair. You probably wouldn't need all this detail if it is a white box. So that's it. That's all I can really say about this. Just keep your geometry clean and tidy up any sort of loose ends. Make sure your your polygons, you know, you don't get any. These are what we call T-verts, where a vert hits an edge and then ends, and it's, yes, basically a T-vert. You can see why it's called a T-vert, and it's not good practice to have those in your geometry. So T-vert, it's not connected to anything, so that's cool. Okay, so that's it, and there's a lot there as well, you can see them. You know, if you don't keep it tidy, you get all these splits in the geometry, and it just starts looking a bit untidy, and then it starts escalating further and further as you go. So, you know, if it's off a little bit there, and then further down it'll be off a little bit more, and then it just scales and scales and becomes a big problem in the end. So make sure it's all clean and tidy. Okay, so that's it for now. On to the next. Hi, okay, so next up is this helmet. It's pretty cool, quite like it. There's a couple of things that jump out to me. The first being, it's quite a classic thing you see from junior artists, and that's the use of normal maps. You can see all these markings on here, and you know, sometimes I think when you first discover normal maps and how cool they are, you tend to overdo it and overuse them, and I think that's what's happening here a little bit. Here's another image, and you can see it's really quite intense. It would get bashed and scratched and things like that in battle, but I just think it feels unnatural. These marks on the side here, I don't quite know where they would come from. I understand sort of slashes and dents and things, but personally I just think it's a bit overused, the normal maps. Okay, and the other thing is, if you look at a real helmet, now this is something from the Tower of London. It's pretty awesome. If you've never been there, go and look at their collection of helmets and night things there. I'm not quite sure what they're called, but if you look at this and this, the real life ones tend to have a really nice sort of edge. They tend to finish off the metal edges really nicely, but on the model we're not seeing it. We've seen it a bit on this top of this helmet thing here. I'm not quite sure what this is. A visor that drops down, perhaps. I'm not sure. Or extra protection on the head. So you've seen it around there a little bit, but you know, it would be nice just to have that detail around the base here, just to sort of finish it off, and maybe around the eyes, perhaps. I don't know. It just feels like you could sort of take that a step further, basically, in that respect. So that was that. The other thing, I did get an image of the geometry. Let me just bring that on. Here we go. Okay, so just like the previous one, you want to keep your topology really clean and tidy if you possibly can. I mean, it doesn't, if you look at the model, it's not bad. You can't really see that, but you know, good practice. Look at all this topology in here. You just want to try and smooth all that out. It doesn't need to be wobbly like that. Just keep it nice and smooth and good topology, basically. Some quite odd shapes going on here in terms of, just scribble. Yeah, okay, so you see this edge, these polygons here look quite strange. You know, that's could be cleaned up, and all these sort of wobbly edges and the way they finish, really nice flow. You don't need it for it to be wobbly like that. It could be quite, you know, it could be quite nice topology, basically. But you know, it's just a little bit messy. If it's not hurting the model, it's not bad. But what you should do is get into the habit of creating nice looking geometry and topology on your models. It's far more easy to read, and technically, if it's animating as well, it can be, you know, it's really important, as I've explained in the past. I really like the dirt. It's quite a nice looking model. It just needs finishing off, details around the edges, especially around the edge of this here. I think you could tidy that up, just give it a nice edge, and I think it'll look really nice. So that's it for now. On to the next one. So this is the next one, a lovely piece of concept art. It's actually really, I quite like the feel of it and the look of it. There are a few things I think I would change, just to sort of make it feel a lot better. The first of all, this is kind of your focal point. Oh, let me get my pen working again. There we go. Okay, so the focal, this is clearly a focal point here, which is quite cool. And obviously this is a focal point here, and that is going sort of towards that. That's how I'm reading that. But to me, this object here and this object here, they look like they're on the same plane. They look like they're almost next to each other. That needs pushing away into the distance, and this looks like it needs to look as though it's going towards it, basically. I think that would improve it a lot. And the other thing I noticed is these clouds in the background, because you got this object here and this guy's sort of going in this kind of direction. These clouds are going in this direction. Now I think it'd be pretty awesome if you could change that around and flip the background so they all sort of like go in this direction. Let me just get my pen, so they're all sort of flowing in this direction, the clouds, and they're all sort of pointing to this one piece here. Now I kind of did a really rough paint over of this. Let me just try and bring it in very quick, very rough, and I just kind of just push that off into the distance. Let me get rid of these lines here. There we go. Go. So that looks like it's much further away now. I think I shrunk it and then just made it hazy and blurry, and that pushed it into the distance. And I put a bit more contrast into the creature. I did not flip the sky, but I think it would benefit from that. And the other thing is to give it some distance, make it look like there's something down. Maybe a few mountains poking up in the distance, and you can see I kind of tried to do that for you a bit down here, just to give it a hint. But you need to do this for yourself, and this is just my feeling when I first saw this. I'm not quite sure what it's for. It's a concept. I think she said it was a concept for a piece she's going to build in 3D, but I would make those changes. I would certainly set that off into the distance. When you build it, make sure that's way off. This creature can be a lot closer to the camera, and then these clouds almost sort of like pointing to the horizon down there, pointing to that in that direction. So you sort of flipped it around the clouds, and I think that would work really well. But I love the colours. The colours are great, and you get quite a good vibe from this. And yeah, cool. Good job. So that's it for this one. Let's move on to the next. Again, I only got a few images for this one, but it's really cute. I really like this. Kind of reminds me of World of Warcraft characters style, which is really good. Nothing wrong with the style here. It looks really good work. Here's another image from the back sort of side. Could probably do a bit more with these gloves, thicken them up a little bit, but essentially a pretty good looking thing. Now there's going to be a problem when you come to animate this, that if he turns his head, what's going to happen to this beard thing? It's going to go through all of this, so that's something you got to be wary of, something to think about. And that should have been ironed out before you start modelling it. That's what we would do in the industry. We would identify those sorts of problems beforehand. But that's just a minor thing. You could probably sort that out. And here's some geometry for it. A geometry image. Again, the flow. I mean, this looks good as an image, looks really nice, but as a topology on a character, I think you need to go and have a look at that, especially around these arms. That will not animate like that. That could be problematic. You need edges down here like this, and you'll need probably at the top of there, I forget what the bone is because I'm not a character artist, but there's a section of the arm up there which would sort of needs a cap that goes on the top of your shoulder. And just be careful of these. All the way down here you need some good topology so that they can bend the arms with animation. Same around the wrists. Just check, go and have a look at how characters are modelled. And I think, Danny Mac, I don't know if you know him or seen his videos, but he has some great retopology. I'm sure he won't mind me saying this, but he has some pretty awesome retopology videos on YouTube which you can check out and follow quite easily. And he talks about how joints should be set up and where to put your polygons basically, and why, and it's really useful. And it could be really useful for you to check it out. And you can see the way he's done his shoulder there, extra edges, and it's all for animation purposes. But go and check that out because he's got another one just for head as well, and they're really, really good. So I'm sure Danny won't mind me saying that. And Danny is quite renowned. He's got something like 128k subscribers. I think he works in the industry. He knows what he's talking about. He's really good, so check that out. So I would definitely take another look at this and go and check out those videos. Find out how you retopologize, because I can see you followed edges up here, but that's not good for animation. So it depends what you're going to do with this. If you are going to animate, you need to look at your topology again. So apart from that, great looking character. The visuals on this are great, and it looks like something for World of Warcraft at first glance. So good job. Let's move on to the next. Okay, so this is a white box scene. It looks really nice. When I first saw this, I thought that's really cool. I really like the giant mushrooms placement. I mean, I know it's only a screenshot, but immediately get kind of lost in here, in the center here. I'm not quite sure. It's hard to make out the shapes. I think what you need to do is look at the shapes that's being created here, because I'm not quite sure what's going on. It looks like there's this structure here, and then there's a lean-to here, and the hut is sort of butted up against this flat thing with the chimney on the top. I'm not quite sure. It's hard to make out what's going on there, so you need to think about that shape a bit more. But all in all, I think it's pretty cool. The objects are sort of scattered quite far apart, and it might be nice to sort of make much more of a community sort of space. But in this kind of area here, let me just get my pen out. In around here where he would go in and out, and he would live more in this space. It depends what you're doing with it. I'm not quite sure. There's no more information on it than what I can see here. I haven't got a model, a mesh or anything. But the mushrooms are really nice. I love these sort of shapes, but this is a big question mark. This, you move this over here, move that in, just to make it feel more like somebody's living here. And this here could probably go in. And I'm guessing you're going to have some sort of path sort of coming in here like that. I'm just guessing. Anyway, great job. And I really look forward to seeing what the final product is going to be like. So keep us updated on that. And yeah, so that was the last one. I don't really have much more to say because it is just a white box. Yeah, just make it feel like much more of a lived in kind of space. Give it a bit more character, like like something is living there and I think that would be really cool. But all in all, good job. Look forward to seeing the final result. So that's it. That's the last one. October is now open, so if you want to submit your work for October, please do in the usual way. All the information is on the Facebook page. If you're new to this video, just if you can like it, subscribe, whatever you do to these buttons down below, and links to all my courses are down below as well, so come on board and I can review your pieces too. So thank you very much. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.